Well, welcome everyone back to After the Huddle. Jacob here, Jared on the other end.
Hello.
Uh, we're back. Took a little hiatus. We had conflicting schedules. Had some stuff going on, but we're back, and we're here to talk draft.
Draft.
We're only about a week out from the draft. We're not too far away. We're gonna talk winners and losers. Obviously. I want to talk about Will Levis falling a little bit. Why do you think? Why do you think that happened?
I heard a lot about Levis falling strictly because of that bathroom selfie he took.
You talking about the way he was like flexing?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Apparently, there was a lot of knock on that from NFL teams. A lot of teams didn't like how he was trying to show off his arm. From another thing I heard, that he was falling in love with his arm. Showing it off and shit like that at the combine. Which, I mean, I can understand that. I can see that because every video I've seen, it's just him like zipping that shit. And like I wrote one in the comments before. I'm like, okay, I get like you could throw the fastball, like you could throw a dart, cool. But like, what happens when you inside the 20? Like, can you put some touch on the ball? Like, what on the fade routes? Can you put it where the defender can't get it? Because I mean, you can't always throw darts. So
no, you're right. I mean, having a strong arm obviously is wanted from a quarterback, but I mean, I if you're not athletic, like athletically gifted, then most of the time they go for people who have better accuracy, better ball placement, guys who sit in the pocket more, can distribute better. And he can develop into one of those quarterbacks, but he's got to let go of his ego. Because if he goes into the NFL as a rookie with an ego, it's going to get shattered.
Oh yeah, easily.
It's bad.
And as of right now, he's third on the depth chart behind Tannehill and Malik Willis.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't know. I think he'll jump Malik Willis. I think he'll be the number 2.
I think he does too. I say he jumps to number 2, and then if Tannehill starts playing bad or if he gets hurt, I can see him, getting thrust into it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact reason why he fell. I mean, I thought Tampa Bay was going to go ahead and grab him,
right,
in that first round. They passed on him, and then Tennessee was able to get him in the second round, which I guess is good for Tennessee in a way, because everybody was talking about he's a first round pick and all this and that, and then he falls to the second round. You get value in that pick at least.
You do.
So I mean, it's a huge upside to the Tennessee Titans because you're not risking as much, that because whether people want to admit it or not, and they'll probably be like, oh, it's just one round. Like, there's a huge difference between a first round pick and a second round pick.
Oh yeah, easily. Because after the first round, I don't think you get a 5th year after the first round.
No.
So there's that. So you got to play your entire contract without that 5th year option. Mm-hmm. So it comes into like the 5th year option comes into play. Cheaper contracts come into play every time a round ends. The later you fall in rounds, you cheaper contracts.
The cheaper you get. That's why, like I was telling some of my homeboys, that Tyreek Woolen in Seattle. I think that's one of the reasons why they went and got a cornerback, because I was gonna put Seattle as one of my losers in the draft. Not like the biggest loser. They had like the players they got are good. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like how they didn't address, like, in a defensive line heavy draft. You did not address that D-line whatsoever.
Not at all.
You didn't address that D-line whatsoever. And the fact that you're going to pass up on all of those players who are all great pass rushers, run stoppers, guys who can get to the quarterback, guys who can diagnose plays quickly, super athletic uber guys, and you go with a cornerback, which is who I thought was going to be the first cornerback off the board originally. But that's only because, like, and then next thing you know, like, I hear the Lions were looking into Christian Gonzalez and all that. You know, obviously they went somewhere else, but
yeah,
it's just mind blowing to me that they didn't like in a league where you have guys like, and you're in a division with, excuse me, with Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, and Geno Smith, who's been balling out at Seattle.
Geno's on Seattle, so are we talking about Seattle?
Oh, my bad, not Geno. Brock Purdy, who's got a monster squad in San Francisco.
And also, as of right now, we don't know. It's kind of up in the air with the quarterback situation, with which one to call it, with Purdy and Trey Lance.
So you got Trey Lance to think about. So you're not gonna. You didn't really have no pass rush last year. So you're really not going to have much. Now it could be the same, or it could be better if you're trying to play it as if you're trying to play it as like coverage is going to help out our D line. Then I understand coverage helping out D line, because if you have a good D line, it can help out your coverage, and if you have good coverage, it can help out your D line. But what is that going to do when they run the ball on you for 300 fucking yards like Josh Jacobs did?
Yep.
Well, what are you going to do then? Because when somebody just runs the ball down your throat all game,
that's all they're going to do.
Those cornerbacks mean nothing, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought they should have went. But that's the only reason why. That's like a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a personal thing. You know, I just didn't like it. You know. But I ended up not putting them in there. I was reading up on some other stuff, and I remembered another team that I did not like their draft. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I wanted to talk to you about a team that's in your division. The New York Jets signed Randall Cobb, right?
Yep.
And now they have Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Corey Davis, and
Garrett Wilson.
Because I don't think Elijah Moore is going to end up staying there. I think they're going to end up trading him.
I think he already got traded.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, he's gone. So I mean, I don't understand. Like, are you just trying to get everybody from the Packers over there? Like you're Devontae Adams away from being the 2019 Packers, 2020 Packers.
Yeah, basically. They're trying to turn their offense into what Green Bay's offense was. Like, all they need is another running back behind what's his face? Brees Hall. Yeah, need another running back behind him, so you'd have the 1-2 punch like you have with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, or Aaron Jones and
AJ Dillon.
Yeah, either one. You got Devontae Adams, who's not on the Jets, but I mean they're one, like you said, one player away from him like that. You got Hazard, who was his number 2. You got Randall Cobb, who was his number 3.
So you go sign Mercedes Lewis, old ass, bring him out of retirement. You'll really be the Packers then. Like, I don't see where they're going. Like, and then they go then in the first round they draft a defensive end.
Yep.
Like, that shit was great, bro. That shit was great.
They say they did. They could have won left tackle or right tackle like they needed to, but they addressed that later in the draft. But I mean, still, like, if you don't have
the talent pool for the disparity between like where the top like 3-4 offensive tackles were compared to everybody else was huge.
Yeah, and like they didn't have to. They had pick 15, so they could have just took a fucking offensive lineman. I mean, grand fact, Broderick Jones was taken right in front of him, but I mean, still, you could have got, one of the other offensive linemen that's out there.
Yeah, I was glad the Giants got that center from Minnesota in the second round. Very, very high value pick. They were calling him the best center in the draft, and we got him in the second round. So I'll take it.
I mean, they don't get Aaron Rodgers no protection. That whole trade was for nothing.
I mean, and then on top, like, he's not a running guy. Like, he's not even an old running guy that was like once athletic and is not athletic anymore and can still move a little bit. He's an old guy that was never athletic, like ever. So now he's even more unathletic than he was when he was unathletic.
Like,
so now you're quadruple unathletic.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Like, he could scramble out of the pocket and like extend the plays, but like, he's not running 30 yards down the field like
no.
And Lamar and all them do.
No, so like, I don't know. I said the same thing about Washington. Washington's offensive line was terrible. Now they did need a cornerback, so going to get Emmanuel Forbes was a good pick. You know, they get him, and then they he's a real athletic, but he's kind of on the smaller side, but he's real athletic.
Yeah, speaking of him, Emmanuel Forbes, they were saying that's the whole reason New England got to take Gonzalez is because they knew Washington was really high up on Forbes.
Yeah,
and they were going to take him. So, I mean,
yeah, they left Gonzalez. Once Washington came up, I thought they might have gone with him, but once I saw that they went Forbes, I knew y'all were taking Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah,
y'all need cornerback help, big time.
Yeah, and so far, what I've heard, the only knock is he's fit, he's physical, but he's got to tackle more.
He's got what?
He's got to tackle more. They said.
Oh, his tackle form's not that great.
It's not necessarily that. It's just I don't. I guess it's that. I don't know. They were saying something about how like he doesn't like to tackle or some shit like that. This, that, and the fourth, and that's what Belichick likes in a corner is, you know, a physical tackling person. But I mean, they made a Stephon Gilmore comparison. That's what they were saying basically. They're saying, okay, regular season, you know, he didn't necessarily have to tackle a lot because he was locking up wide receivers left and right. But when it came to playoff time, if he had to make a tackle, he was going to make the tackle, and that's what they're saying. God damn it, that's what they're saying about Christian Gonzalez is like, you know, he has the skill sets to mirror all of wide receivers, this, that, and the fourth. But when it comes to tackle, he's got to tackle. So we're going to see about that one. I mean, I liked the pick personally. That was a great pick for us.
Yeah, I felt the same way about Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. We get him in the third round, so we didn't go too high on him. He's got speed, which is what we need. We're missing speedy guys that can create separation on the outsides. You know, hold on real quick. Okay, sorry. So yeah, we need speed on the outsides. We didn't have it last year. Our speedy guy, our fastest guy, I think, on offense is, I mean, it's probably Saquon, but as far as wide receiver, it's Darius Slate. You know, so we had to get him. His only knock that they were talking about was like he doesn't. They don't know if he has like a huge route tree.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching that hey rookie, welcome to the NFL.
Right.
And apparently he was at his pro day, right? And a Dallas Cowboys scout talked to him and he was like, well, you know what your skill set is. And he's like, what's that, coach? He's like, well, it's your speed. And he's like, well, I'll run routes though. And he's like, we're gonna see today. We're gonna see. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna see. So I mean, I hope that puts a little extra motivation into him when he plays the Cowboys, you know?
Yeah.
Because now he's got to play him twice a year.
That's what I was talking to the dudes about yesterday. I was like, because he's a Giants fan too, and he said something about Hyatt. I'm like, so how do y'all feel about Hyatt? You know, he's got the speed and everything, and all I'm seeing is really vert routes and everything. So I just asked him basically how that went, and then he just kind of gave his rundown about it. Which, I mean, me honestly, he did okay. But honestly, I think he was schemed up more in college. So I think that's why he was so wide open, including his speed. But I mean, he also had Cedric Tillman, I think, on as the other wide receiver.
Well, sorry for the arm in the way. I'm trying to do something here. Well, I mean, he'll have some help. I mean, we got Sterling Shepard coming back next season. We got Wan'Dale Robinson coming back next season. We bring in Paris Campbell from Indianapolis. We bring in Darren Waller from Oakland. You know, he's our tight end now. So there's no excuse, bro. Daniel Jones has to go out there and perform. But I just thought that adding a speedy guy to that mix, like a true speed guy, was very big. You know, and then you address the need at center really well, and then you trade up in the first to go get some cornerback help and Deontay Banks. So, and apparently, like, he's a big like he fits Wink's system very well. He's big man on man, physical corner. You know, and we said that's what we needed.
What was his name? Wasn't it like John Michael something?
It's like John Michael Schmidt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I seen that, I'm like, how the fuck y'all drafted you?
Yeah, his name is my name too, you know?
And whenever you shout, the people always know.
Here you go.
But no, I want to talk about Houston's draft. Like, I want to talk about their draft class real quick. So like we talked about, you know, they had the second overall pick. And they ultimately ended up taking Stroud. And then, like I said the day before about them trading up to 3, which we have on video that they did, and took Will Anderson. Now, the sleeper pick, I think, for them is going to be that Henry Tutu dude from Alabama.
What position does he play?
He played linebacker with Will Anderson.
Oh, okay.
So he did a lot of cleanup of Will Anderson stuff.
I know they drafted a wide receiver as well. I think in like the 3rd or 4th round.
Okay, I don't remember his name.
I can't remember his name right now.
But I honestly think that whole franchise is going to get turned around within the next few years. Because you got their picks from next year. This draft class they just had. Free agency will be next year, so they can actually still revamp from free agency again.
Well, you got the thing about free agency though is, you know, you gotta have people that want to go there. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at with the whole franchise thing. Maybe they win 6 games this year, right? Maybe they win 6 or 7. Maybe some free agent sees that, you know, they're improving from last year to this year, and they're like, okay.
I don't even think it's just about winning though, bro. It's about the front office and the culture of the building. Like, Houston has been absolutely terrible, bro. Absolutely terrible. They have no culture set. They have nothing set there. DeMeco Ryan, he has to set the culture.
Yeah. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to bring it in like a straight defensive team, and then I think he's going to go from there, build the culture around from that. So we'll see. We're going to see what Houston does. I don't have them winning the division or anything. Like, they'll still probably come in last in the division.
They think that they might have the first overall pick next year. And you know who they go with if they get that, right?
Caleb Williams.
You know what? I gotta come, bruh. Really? You just drafted a quarterback. Who are you gonna go get?
I was thinking somebody else. I was thinking about Arizona. I had the conversation with somebody yesterday.
I'm talking about Houston.
I know. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? The best player in college football right now. Really?
Who? Because I don't.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
But that's what I was going to get asked. Like, if it was a wide receiver, I guess you didn't hear me on that one because I was thinking
from the same school for the quarterback you just drafted.
But are they really going to waste the first overall pick on a wide receiver?
Bro.
I understand where you're coming from, son. But you got to think about it. It's Houston we're talking about. I mean, it makes all the sense to, take Marvin Harrison, with that because they got that chemistry ready.
I want you to understand something here, okay? I want you to understand something. Have you not been watching what's been going on with the Bengals? With Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase? That could be C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr., bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If there's any quarterback that can knock there's any quarterback that can knock that curse of, Ohio State quarterbacks suck coming out. Oh, they don't ever amount to anything. He can break that mold. Now, I don't expect him to do big things his first season. But if they can get in that first spot, and here's the thing. A team that's going to be in that second position, is not going to draft a wide receiver. They're going to probably draft Caleb Williams first.
Oh, yeah.
However, that 2nd through 4th position, that's where Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go. I'm telling you.
Oh, no, yeah. Because there'll be somebody next year in the top 5 that's going to be needing the number 1 wide receiver desperately.
Like, he could be better than his dad. And that's saying something. Something. Because Marvin Harrison was one of the best wide receivers I'd ever seen. And it's not even so much that he was flashy or did a whole bunch of shit that I'd never seen somebody else do. It's he was consistent. Year in, year out, that man's putting up numbers. And yeah, he's got Peyton Manning as his quarterback, but still.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to go catch that ball. You still got to run those routes and create separation. Peyton Manning can only do so much.
Yeah. This is true.
In fact, they used to remember, I don't know if you probably remember back when they had that offense, it was, Reggie Wayne and Joseph Adai and Marvin Harrison and I used to love Dallas Clark.
Was it Dallas Clark that they're tight end? I couldn't remember who the tight end was because I always got him and Heath Miller mixed up.
No. Heath Miller was with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I knew that. And then I think Owen Daniels was with the Ravens. Or was he with Houston?
He might have been with Houston. I'm trying to remember who the Ravens. Because didn't the Ravens have another good tight end before Mark Andrews? Who was it?
I can't remember his name.
Todd Heap.
Okay. I thought he played for Pittsburgh.
No, Todd Heap. No. Todd Heap played for Baltimore.
Who it was? It was Todd Heap and who was Pittsburgh's tight end back then? Because I always got them mixed.
That was Heath Miller.
Okay. Yeah, because I always get teams mixed up.
Yeah, bro. I forgot about Todd Heap, boy. Oh, Todd Heap was pretty good too. I don't know if he Hall of Fame good, but he was a good player.
You got Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark. He goes into the Hall of Fame because of the offense that he was with.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when you look at the teams that were the way they were built, if you look at the Super Bowl champion Rams when Kurt Warner was quarterback, and you look at the Super Bowl champion Colts when Peyton Manning was quarterback, those two offenses, I mean, The only other offense that you can say that could compete with those two offenses, in my opinion, was the Bills' 90s offenses when they were going to those Super Bowls.
And losing 4 straight. I'm going to throw that in every time.
True, yeah, they did. But, hey, they had really good offense. You know, Jim Kelly.
Andre Reed.
Oh, man, I can't remember the running back's name for some reason. Thurman Thomas.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, they had a good squad. But to me, like the two offenses, when I look at an offense, it's got to be the Colts, the Super Bowl Colts, and the Super Bowl Rams. You know, they called that the greatest show on turf. You know, I thought the Colts were the greatest show on turf 2.0. And then now you got the Chiefs, you know, Patrick Mahomes, but they don't really have the wide receivers that those teams had. Or the running backs, really. It's really just Patrick Mahomes throwing it to whoever's out there that runs a 4-3 flat, you know, and can create separation. He's gonna dot you up.
Whatever Ferrari and Porsche they can put on the field, they put it on the field.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah, that's true. 100% true.
Ferrari, Maserati, whatever. If you could run, you get in the ball. Oh, speaking of the Chiefs, Mecole Hardman's with the Jets too. Forgot about that.
You're right.
Forgot all about that.
So, but all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into these winners and losers for this draft. We'll talk about some winners first, and then we'll get into who we think are losers. I think the top, as much as it pains me to say it, the top winner of the draft was the Eagles. Like, as painful as it is for me to say it, the rich got richer. I mean, I don't know if you know this stat. Every single one of that 2020 Bulldogs team that won the national championship, that first one that they won, that defense, every single one of the starters was drafted.
By Philly?
No, just drafted to the NFL.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew that. Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude. And half of them were on fucking Philadelphia's team.
Yep.
Literally half of them.
And they got DeAndre Swift too.
Who's from fucking Georgia.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, they're becoming the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Wow, son. I heard something about Philly on the radio. They were saying the reason that they drafted all these Georgia players and the Alabama players and now with AJ Brown, they're sticking with the SEC basically, and they're basically saying the SEC, no matter what team you're on, they all kind of run together basically. So like they all kind of keep them in check. So that's kind of I heard like on the radio they're saying, you know, getting the 6 players from Georgia basically with now including Swift. You got AJ Brown from Ole Miss. You got Jalen Hurts from Oklahoma and Alabama. And then you got Devontae Smith, who's from Alabama. So that literally that whole offense right there, basically, and the defense is all in the SEC. So like, there's not going to be any like, oh yeah, my bad. Like, nah, like they're that close. There can't be any fuck ups.
Yeah. Once they traded for DeAndre Swift, bro, I just gave up on life. We haven't had the NFC East hasn't had a repeat champion in like over a decade or two, and
well, they're about to have one.
Yeah, the Eagles are going to go back and win again. As much as it pains me to say.
My boy Rob, might as well go and place your bets right now for Philadelphia winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they win the Super Bowl or not yet. They got a really good chance, though.
The Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. Remember that question I asked you about their window being open for how long? So I asked that same question to to I think it's Hardcore Sports Network, and they said basically the same thing. I said from 2 to 3 years, they're like 3 to 4 years. I'm like, well, you still got everybody to pay and everything. I'm like, I could see AJ Brown taking a pay cut to stay with the team. I don't think he'd want to leave. Goddard, I don't know if Goddard would take a pay cut.
Here's the thing, though. If they win a championship, he won't want to leave. But
Right.
if they don't win a championship in the next few seasons, and the next 3 seasons, something's got to give. You know, because once, now don't get me wrong, like there's not a huge salary hits for Jalen Hurts, but you're gonna get salary hits off of his contract. You're gonna get salary hits off of AJ Brown's contract. You know, you're bringing in new pieces, and if you can develop them, then you don't have to re-sign these other guys, obviously, and you can keep that in check. But it's all about drafting well, which they've done, and developing well, which they've also done. So, I mean, fuck Philly, but damn, they got a good front office, man.
They do, and I know it, and I know it's killing Howie Roseman because he's a Gator.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, when talent's there,
this ain't college anymore. No. We're not in Kansas anymore. So, nope. But all right. Well, here's what we'll do. I'll give you a winner and I'll give you a loser. We'll go back and forth. My main loser of the draft, the Falcons. Terrible, absolutely terrible. They didn't address anything they needed on the offensive line. You drafted a running back at, what was it, 7 overall or 8 overall?
8.
You know, and we had, don't get me wrong, we had the Eagles taking him at 10, but that's really only because they didn't really have a huge need anywhere else besides running back, maybe defensive line, which is obviously where they went.
Yeah, and they probably would have drafted him too if you fell to 10. Because if not, they wouldn't have traded. If they did, they wouldn't have traded for Swift.
Yeah. So I mean, I get it, but they didn't address anything of importance, in my opinion. They didn't trade back, and which was, if you're gonna draft that guy at 8, just trade back, get some draft capital. You know, expand your roster for next season and the following season, because you're not going to win a championship this season. Not with Desmond Ridder as your quarterback.
No, they'll probably place 3rd or last in the division.
Yeah, so I mean, I expect either the Saints or possibly even Carolina to win that division.
That's the same thing I said too. I'm like, it's either the Saints win the division or Carolina's winning it, because it's one of those two.
Yeah, but yeah, I did not like their draft whatsoever, and then drafting a running back so high. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wanted Saquon. I didn't like the fact that we drafted him at 2nd overall, though. That's really freaking high for a running back.
Yeah.
So, but
my winner is going to be Houston, like we talked about. Knocked out the quarterback position with Stroud. Then you got your edge rusher and Will Anderson, and then you got your linebacker to clean up behind him that played with him in college, right on the same in the same franchise. So I think the same thing. That linebacker tandem for them too. I think they'll do some work. So
yeah, I liked Houston's draft. Like I said, they also grabbed a wide receiver later in the rounds that has a huge upside to him. He's still a little raw. Could be a really good red zone target, type guy. We'll see. We'll see how he develops. But yeah, I really like their draft. I still think they need skill players though. They don't have enough on the outsides. They got a good run game with Antonio Pierce, but they don't have enough on the outsides to really do damage. Who you guys one of your losers?
My loser for this one, Detroit.
Detroit.
Because at 6 they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. No. I take that back.
No,
No, they did. No.
No, they drafted that cornerback, didn't they?
Hold on, I'm trying to think. Because they took Gibbs high.
Yeah, remember they had another pick at like.
All right, I remember it now. So, yeah, I got Detroit because first you draft Gibbs. I don't remember where they picked. It was obviously top 10. You could have easily just plugged your corner because you just traded Akudo away. I understand you lost Jamal Williams to free agency to the Saints, this, that, and the fourth. Whatever, cool. But you have no cornerbacks. You have a pick of the litter from the cornerbacks in the draft at where you was drafting at, basically. From Witherspoon, I think Witherspoon went 5, I believe.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. The Lions, remember they traded back.
Yeah, so
they traded back and ended up getting him. They got him outside the top 10, but they traded back and then got him. I know that.
So yeah, so like I'm saying, so like you still got your cornerbacks because I'm sure they didn't trade down far. I think probably 12, if anything. I don't remember where it was, but regardless of what I'm saying, they drafted running back that high, could have fixed different positions. Then your second pick in the first round, you draft a middle linebacker. You could have fixed a different position than that. Like you could have easily got Jack Campbell in the second round. Like I believe wholeheartedly you could have got Jack Campbell in the second round. Like you could have definitely addressed. You could have still took Jalen Carter because Jalen Carter slid pretty far.
Yeah.
You could have took an offensive lineman. You could have took Skoronski. You could have took Broderick Jones. You could have took Paris Johnson. Like you had the picks. I think you wasted them. You could have got. I think honestly, you could have got both of them in the second round. Maybe you're pushing it with Jahmyr Gibbs, but Jack Campbell, I believe you could have easily got in the second round.
Well, I mean, they kind of were high on Gibbs, and then Jamal Williams, he leaves. And then DeAndre Swift gets traded. So they didn't have nobody at run. Didn't they? Then they signed David Montgomery. And then now you got Jahmyr Gibbs playing as well. I mean, they were high on the kid though, from what I've been seeing about it. They were really high on him. But all right. Another one of my winners. You can call me a little bit biased, but the Giants. There was a graph that I saw. Giants got the highest total value out of all their picks compared to everybody else in the draft. Like pick value, that's like a measurement of pick value, And Giants got the most value for their picks out of everybody in the draft this year.
Y'all got
I am blown away at the transformation and difference in this organization with Joe Shane and Brian Dable as head coach.
Yeah.
It has been absolutely wonderful to see. There's nothing but positivity coming out of that building right now. Confidence is riding high. There's still question marks around Daniel Jones, but you draft Deontay Banks out of Maryland, coming in at cornerback. You needed that cornerback help, especially now that Julian Love's gone. I mean, we could have used the safety. I think we drafted one like later in the round. I can't remember the later rounds exactly. Then in the second round, you drafted the center out of Minnesota. Definitely a big need and a big value pick, considering that a lot of guys on their draft boards had him as the best center in the draft. So, then we talked about Hyatt already. We talked about Jalen Hyatt already. You bring speed into the organization. You draft some more DB help later in the rounds because you didn't have a 5th round pick or 4th round pick. So you draft that, and then you draft some D line help out of a guy out of Oregon. All in all, it was just a very good draft, big defensive heavy draft, which is what we kind of needed. We needed that in wide receiver, and that's exactly what they hit almost every point: cornerback, guard, wide receiver. Then you bring some help in on the D line, on the inside. I expect Kayvon Thibodeau to take a leap this year. I expect Evan Neal to take a leap this year on the offensive line. So, and I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be another good season. I think we win 10 games in the regular season this year. I really do. I expect us to win 10 games this year. And it's going to be a tough 10 games. It really is. Because we have a decently tough schedule this season. We play y'all. We play the AFC East this year, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what NFC side we play?
South, I think.
Is it the South?
Maybe not.
I don't.
Because we played the South last year. I'll have to check.
I don't know. Yeah, I have this schedule comes out. I think this week, doesn't it?
I believe the 12th.
The 12th. Yeah, that's this week. It's like I think that's Thursday or Friday.
I think it's Friday.
Yeah. So yeah, it is Friday. Yeah, schedule comes out Friday. So we'll see for sure. I know they play the Saints this year in the Superdome, so I'll be going to that game. Can't wait. I'm excited. I hope it's a. I've been debating and I've come. I hope it's a later game in the season. Closer to the end. One, because it would be more of importance. I mean, every game's important, obviously, but it would be more of importance down the stretch. And then on top of that, I feel like the players would have more time to gel together, especially Daniel Jones and his new targets, and you throw in the center on the line, and then you got Deontay Banks has to play with these guys have to gel and mesh.
Right.
It's gonna be an interesting year. And then one of my losers as well, Jacksonville. I mean, none of their picks made sense to me. And then you traded back, in the first round. I mean, you didn't trade back far, obviously, but you traded back. You didn't really grab anybody of huge importance. You didn't really fill most of your needs. They kind of did. They filled their needs, but there were better players at other positions, way better players that they could have gone after, and they just went straight need heavy in the draft. And I don't. That doesn't always sit with me. Now, if you can find somebody who's really good value for a need, that's a big pick. That's a huge pick. But if you're just drafting a need and you're just drafting the best player at that position because it's who you need, then I don't always agree with that. Unless you're a team like the Eagles, who are like one piece away.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Philly's will be right back in it.
Yeah, they'll be right back in it next year. But yeah, it just I didn't like Jacksonville's draft either.
So one of my winners. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh getting a young left tackle to protect Kenny Pickett in his second year was a good idea. And then they turned around in the second and got Joey Porter Jr. Where his dad,
was a solid pick.
Pick. Dad went and played. So it's gonna be. I think they had a good draft. I think they had a typical Pittsburgh draft. But I think those 2 picks are gonna come in handy for him.
Yeah, I really liked that Joey Porter Jr. pick. Obviously there were other guys rated higher than him, and that's why he
played the NFC West.
NFC West. Okay. Yeah. And NFC East plays the NFC West this year. So we got like, Arizona, San Francisco,
Yeah,
Rams, Seattle.
Okay.
But yeah, there were other guys that were rated higher, but I thought that was a good value pick for them where they got him at.
Pick in the second round.
Yeah, I thought it was a great pick where they got him at, and then on top of that, Broderick Jones getting picked by them. I had him as the second best tackle in the draft. So it should be interesting.
Losers. I think I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
Really?
I mean, they draft. I think I'm pretty sure they drafted Teron. And then you got what? You got I think it was Will Levis went to Tennessee too. So right after they drafted Malik Willis, they turned around and drafted a quarterback again. I mean, I understand it, kind of, sort of, but I feel like they could have addressed different things at the time than quarterback in the second round. Because now,
I mean, Tannehill is getting old though.
No, I get that, but I don't. Honestly, I don't think they believe in Willis. So I get the Levis pick, but how is he going to turn out with like what we were talking about? Why he slid? Is he going to fall in love with his arm playing? Just overthrow people? Is he not going to get the touchdown?
Well, I mean, you never know. You never know how they're going to do until you actually see it on the field. Nobody knows. People speculate. I mean, I don't see a problem. If he plays smart and you win games, then being a little cocky and a little confident is understood. I can understand it, but he'll have his welcome to the NFL moment. Where he realizes, oh shit. I mean, but he didn't win a lot of games in college, so it's not like even if he goes out there and loses games, like it's going to be a huge deal. He has the talent. That's the thing. He has the intangibles, some stuff that you can't teach that goes into being a quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why he was so highly rated. But the thing about it is, at the same time, you can't have an ego when you're playing at Kentucky and you're going, 7-5. Like we get it, good season, but you're not doing anything really.
And then speaking of what we were talking about earlier on why he slid, I heard he had a toe issue too that kept him out like 2 games or whatever. So like that doesn't really help his case either.
I mean, Jameson Williams tore his ACL and still got drafted in the first round by the Lions. I don't want to hear that. Like people tear their ACLs and MCLs and they still get drafted high. I don't believe that. The one that surprised me the most was Tampa Bay not getting him. Like Tampa Bay, you really believe in Baker Mayfield like that?
Either him.
I mean, Baker's he's not terrible, but I don't think he's like the guy. You know what I mean?
It's either going to be him or Trask, I believe.
I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, did they address running back at all?
I don't know if they did, but they did take that Cody Mouch dude, who I've heard played every position along the offensive line. His
very versatile.
Yeah,
very versatile.
And dude's a brawler when he's missing like his 2 front teeth.
They said Mans is from a town of like a few hundred people, bro. That's crazy. I seen my mom's hometown, and my mom grew up in a hometown of like 2,000 people, and that's like not a lot. You know what I mean? So you're growing up in a town with a few hundred people. Eesh.
My son Cody Mouch looks like a Viking. if you really think about it, put a Viking helmet on him. You only really got to do the hair because he's already got the hair.
Yeah, if he would have gotten drafted to Minnesota, I would have died laughing.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect fit.
Yeah, like if Minnesota would have taken him in like the second round or something, if he would have felt like that, and he goes in the second round, I'd have been like, bruh, fits perfectly there.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into this thing called "Who Would You Rather." So, like I said, 1,101 catches, 13,899 yards, 130 touchdowns. It's player one. Player two, 928 receivings, 12,200 yards, and 83 touchdowns.
Oh, definitely player one.
Yeah, so that's Chris Carter to AB.
Yeah, I mean, definitely player. Definitely, who's player one? Chris Carter.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Chris Carter was a touchdown machine, bro. People don't realize that man used to score, bro. That man had hands.
It was really hard to figure out a new school player, and then just AB just popped off in my head for some reason. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go with him. So all right,
yeah, that dude. Yeah, that they don't realize that man could score. That boy Chris Carter, he was doing one-handed shit before one-handed shit was popular.
He taught Randy Moss the one-handed shit.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to running backs. We're to go. Player one, Scott, 29,000. No, my bad. 2,949 rush attempts, 12,120 yards, and 91 touchdowns.
How many attempts?
2,949.
Okay.
12,120 yards, 91 touchdowns.
Okay.
Player one. Player two, 1,210 rush attempts, 6,341 yards, and 48 touchdowns. That's player two.
To be honest, I'd go player two.
You want to
like player one got way more attempts and yards and stuff, but he seems like the other guy's scoring touchdowns at a way higher rate.
So player two is Nick Chubb. Player one is Franco Harris.
Yeah. That makes that's another touchdown. That boy Nick Chubb is just ridiculous, bro. That's another thing. You should have added how many seasons that have been played.
Yeah, well, see, yeah, Franco is his career. Nick Chubb, he's still playing. So
yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to tight ends. So player one, you got 1,325 catches, 15,127 yards, 111 touchdowns. Player one. Player two, 9,286 yards, 621 catches, 92 touchdowns.
Man, that player two scoring, huh? Jesus. Yeah, I'd probably go player two. Touchdowns are more important to me.
So that's Gronk compared to Tony Gonzalez.
Which one's Gronk? Player two or player one? Player two?
Player two is Gronk.
Yeah, Gronk. Yeah, Gronk is good. That boy Gronk found his way into the end. Gronk find end zone. Gronk spike ball. Gronk go back to huddle. Get congratulated by his teammates. Gronk likes the butt slaps.
Gronk then Super Bowl trophy.
Gronk don't care. Gronk get another one.
Hey, I fuck with Gronk, but Gronk's a doofus, son. Sorry. So moving on to quarterbacks. Player one, 63.2 completion percentage, 40,551 yards, 273 touchdowns. Is player one.
Hold on. Repeat that. Repeat that one.
Okay. So player one, 63.2% completion percentage. He's got 40,551 yards and 273 touchdowns.
Okay.
Player two, he's got a 64.3 completion percentage, 89,214 yards, 649 touchdowns. That's player two.
I'd probably take player two. Is that Drew Brees?
No,
Who is it?
Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady. That's what I thought.
You
I
want-
thought it was either because all the yards. I was like, okay, that's either Drew Brees counting like a career, like as in like playoffs and regular season. So I was like, that might be him, but it might also be Tom. Who are you comparing him to?
Joe Montana.
Yeah. I definitely take Tom Brady's career. I'd take Tom Brady's career in a heartbeat, man.
The rings would have gave it away.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's old school versus new school. Who would you rather?
You should date coaches.
I'll think of something else for it too. I mean, you can only put like so many coaches up there. Belichick for like top three.
Yeah, I mean, but you could do like the average coaches, the mid-range coaches.
Yeah, this is true.
You could debate like single Super Bowl winning coaches, like coaches who have only one Super Bowl.
Here's one. Greatest players to not win a ring.
Greatest players to not win a ring.
I have a
Barry
few.
Sanders.
Barry Sanders, Dan Marino, Fitzgerald.
Oh my God! The fact that he never won a ring is it's just an embarrassment in the Arizona Cardinals organization.
Man's got more tackles than drops.
Insane, bro. One of the most consistent wide receivers of all time.
Bruh.
Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, hands
down.
down.
I don't care if he's got a ring or not.
Oh yeah.
Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah. I would love to see him and Brady go down in the same class.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah, because we're about to see a lot of players that we watched growing up go in now. But you want to add anything before we end it tonight?
No. Just y'all keep tuning in. We're gonna have to get back into a flow of things, and rookie minicamp just got is underway and finished up. We're here soon. We'll have some reports on some teams throughout the summertime. Obviously before the season starts, we'll give predictions on everything, and keep everything posted.
Yeah, season's right around the corner. Like we said, the schedule comes out this week.
Yeah.
But who's got the season opener? Who's got the first Thursday night game?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think gets the season opener? I've heard Philly and Kansas City.
I've heard Philly. I've heard Philly against the Giants as the inaugural game.
I mean, if you want to go historical, you might as well throw Dallas in there. Because
my thing is why, and it's normally the Super Bowl winning champs.
Yeah, I think the past 2 years was Tampa and Dallas. I think the past 2 years the opening game was Dallas and Tampa. I don't know. Who do you hope you open the season against?
Who do I hope we open the season against? Not a division game.
I feel that.
Not a division game.
I just hope ours isn't against Miami. because it's always Miami our first game, whether it's home or away. Shit, I'd be because we're supposed to play Kansas City this year, and they're supposed to come to us. I would look. They could put that as our season opener, and we can get our ass beat, and I'll be fine with it.
So, hey, just make it the first game, and we can overcome it. Don't make it like week 14, bitches.
No, because we can't have that. Because remember what happened when we played Kansas City and we lost and we got beat down.
Yeah.
On the Cincinnati.
On the Cincinnati. All right, man.
All right, bro. I'm gonna holler.
All right, dude. I'll let you wrap it up. Later.